Steel Curtain Network.
Touchdown! Touchdown para Calvin Austin! El Monte Washington es arma. ¿Quién más? ¿Quién más? TJ Watt!
Oh, we're going to be talking about TJ Watt. This is Jeff Hartman in the Steelers preview. I've got Dave Schofield and Bryan Davis. We're getting you geared up for the Week 15 Monday Nighter. It's a weird week. Only one practice. We're going to still get you ready for it because it's the Steelers preview. Dave, what's going on?
Oh, not too much, Jeff. It just seems like we shouldn't be to this point in the week because, so much I feel with what I do is revolved around the injury report and saying we just barely got one today for the first one of the week. It just doesn't seem like we should be previewing this game yet. We should be waiting another day. But that's what Monday Night Football does. But so there's a little bit more time to get ready for it. But so we'll see exactly how we're ready to go.
All right, Bryan Davis, what's up?
Cautiously optimistic, but you did just bring me down there, Jefferson, because you mentioned that we are going to be talking about TJ Watt, and it will not be with the exclamation TJ Watt. It's going to be more like TJ Watt.
Yeah, so let's start off there. And I think there's no bigger storyline heading into this game other than the fact that TJ Watt suddenly, we hear about it Thursday, happened on Wednesday, that he was at the team facility getting treatment. Mike Tomlin did not say the treatment that he was receiving. He said he didn't know. I'm sure he does. And then all of a sudden he started to have, I guess, chest/breathing issues. They deem it's a lung issue. He has to go to the hospital. He spent the night, Wednesday night into Thursday night, and no one really knows what's up. And Mike Tomlin said that he has communicated with him, that he's in a good place, that he's healthy, that he's, I guess, stable, but no one knows his availability. Tomlin did say when he spoke to the media Thursday after practice or during or after, before, whatever, that they should know more Thursday afternoon. I have not heard anything as of this recording. Dave, I'll let you go first. What did you think when you heard the news?
Well, it's kind of difficult because it really could be almost anything. It's probably something we don't even expect. It's kind of like the DK Metcalf thing. It seemed like it was a big deal with Metcalf, only to find out it wasn't, especially today. He didn't really want to talk about it, which meant it probably wasn't something that some thought it might have been. But with TJ Watt, being in Pittsburgh and spending the night and still being there, I threw it out there to our staff. There was several years ago where I almost ended up in the hospital on Christmas Eve because of an issue that they thought was going on with my lungs, and had to give me a bunch of tests, and they had to give me a test to rule something out, and they couldn't rule it out. So then I had to go to do bigger tests, and then the first test didn't work, and then I had to do stuff again, and I'm, stuck in a CT scan and all this other stuff on Christmas Eve, only for them to eventually say, yeah, you've got a pulled muscle on the underside of your rib cage. You can go home now. That would be great, but you would think if it was something like that with TJ Watt, they would have done that sooner. But when it's something dealing with your lungs, you really don't want to mess around with that at all. With me, they were worried about, the pulmonary embolism, things like that. So my first instinct is because they can be overcautious with that maybe it's not that big of a deal. But if there hasn't been reports that he's home or anything yet, and you're talking about going on the second night there, then we're probably talking about something pretty serious.
Bryan, what'd you take?
My first reaction, gentlemen, was what the. So, I don't have a bleep, so sorry. I love this thing. Love it. Anyways, no, all seriousness, don't mess with the lungs. That's all I'm going to say. If we're bringing it up in this capacity, then it's probably something that there's major concern. Now, I will go ahead and say this. In my old life, I was a pharmaceutical rep for a lot of years. A lot of them was in pulmonology offices. I met my wife in a pulmonology office. A lot of people thought I met her in a psych office. That is not true. But she worked at the pulmonologist. And, I just know from everything that I've seen, you just do not really, you worry anytime the lungs are involved. So I hope everything is okay. For me, this is not football. This is, I hope the man the person, the human being is okay. But as far as everything goes, yeah, this could be serious. This could be a Monday night without TJ Watt. On the other hand, optimistically, I'm thinking, hey, you've got an extra 32 hours or so. So from, game time, what it usually would be. So that's an extra 32 hours, almost a day and a half, where he could possibly get back on track.
There's so many questions that run through my head, and one of them is like, what treatment was he receiving? And I know that some people in the live chat, people on our Slack channel have said, well, maybe it was a Tyrod Taylor situation. Well, Tyrod Taylor, that was game day. He had a rib injury. They were trying to shoot it up to numb the injury, and they accidentally punctured his lung or got his lung. And it was this whole thing. Obviously, he missed a bunch of time. There was a lawsuit between the doctors. It was ugly. But the Steelers didn't even practice on Wednesday. So it didn't make sense why he would need some numbing agent at all. I don't know. I mean, I do understand that sometimes, even if he was on a table and they were either doing chiropractic work or they were doing the thermo guns or whatever, where sometimes stuff happens. Like no one knows, but it is scary. It is very scary because honestly, you're talking about a guy this is a premium style. This is an athlete of all athletes in terms of conditioning and how they take care of their body. I agree with what someone said in the live chat when they said this isn't nothing if they kept him overnight. I think that was Afton for that said that. So, Dave, what do you want to say?
Can I ask you a question, Jeff?
Sure.
Does it make you really wonder even more if it was something fishy when they say that they've been in contact with the NFLPA?
It doesn't help, but I mean, it's because
it raises another flag, right?
Yeah. What is going on? Because even Tomlin, when he spoke to the media at practice, he said, I believe, I only watched it once, but I believe he said, I saw TJ in like the cafeteria where they get their food. And then all of a sudden he's going to the hospital and he has to stay overnight. So, just a lot of questions. We probably won't get a lot of answers, but it does cast a cloud over this Monday night game because really there's a lot of other big injuries to talk about, and we will. But let me ask you guys this. It's a question that I posed to Kevin Smith on my Friday Let's Ride podcast. Do you feel like the Steelers are more equipped this year than past years to deal with a game without TJ Watt? Dave, I'll let you go first.
I'm going to say, I'm going to surprise you guys, and I'm going to say no. And the reason I'm going to say no, because my first instinct is to say yes. So that's why I got to give you a Dave answer. And the reason I'm going to say no is my first instinct would be, well, TJ Watt isn't having the massive production year that he's having where he's everything that gets that defense going and on so many levels. That hasn't been the case this year, which made you think that it wouldn't be. But then that's also part of the reason why the Steelers are not a very highly ranked defense. So missing the fact that I think you could get a very similar defense without TJ Watt. The problem is their defense is so far down in the rankings that you need everything you can just to get a solid defensive performance. But I do understand the aspect of people that are saying, Highsmith and Herbig, that still does sound like a pretty good tandem there as well. So I would say that perhaps they have the guys behind them, but the defense as a whole hasn't been playing lights out. So when you lose someone who has been your best player and the driving force behind that defense for so many years, it's hard to think that they're going to be just fine.
I don't know if I said if you thought I asked.
That's what I said in my
okay.
Mind.
So Bryan, in terms of are they better equipped than in past years? What do you think?
They are better equipped. Absolutely, because of who's behind them, but that does not diminish all the dirty work that TJ Watt does for this team. TJ's a lot like, and we talked about this with Kevin Smith on the Here We Go, the Steelers show. TJ's a lot like Minka was for the Steelers last couple years. Minka was still valuable for the Steelers. A lot of you don't feel that way, but he was picking up the slack of the dirty work, and you're seeing Jalen Ramsey pick up the slack for some dirty work. But those aren't front seven guys. On the front seven, if you have a good game by anybody else in that front seven, a lot of the times it's because of the unseen things that TJ Watt is doing. So yes, they have the horses to fill in for life without TJ. Will it be as good? That wasn't Jeff's question. Will it be as good? No, but they might be able to survive it. I like the fact that you've got a guy like Sawyer. I like the fact that Herbig will go ahead and get a shot to shine. We see how strong Highsmith could be, and if what else you go ahead and take out of the hat. Like somebody mentioned, hey, I think it was Afton that mentioned, do you go ahead and move Wilson around? I don't know how much they're equipped to do that. I know he has had some experience on the outside in college, but he's more of a middle guy. Yes, the short answer is absolutely they're equipped better, but I still don't know, will it be enough?
I mean, this is good. This is a game where you're playing a team that runs the ball really well, and TJ Watt is good in run support. So yes, Alex Highsmith's good, but there's going to be a drop off no matter what, whether you're talking about pass rushing, whether you're talking about run support. I was not trying, and some people in the live chat, not you guys, but some of the people in the live chat are like, well, of course, like look at the record. I'm not saying that there's not a drop off. There's going to be a drop off. You lose an all pro player, there's going to be a drop off. You could name any all pro. Myles Garrett, you could go to the offensive side, Patrick Mahomes. You can have a great backup at both of those positions for both of those players. It's not the same. Not suggesting that at all. So, okay, this is a good segue. Dave, are you ready for the injury report since we only have one day to talk about?
Yes. Even though Steelers.com still doesn't have the Dolphins, I am trying to have the Dolphins. It's written so small, it's hard to read it. So, but I'm ready to go.
Okay.
Steelers first.
Yes.
All right. Well, there was 13 names on the list, but I think it was 6 of them were full participants, which they have an injury, but they were full participants. Let's list those off real quick. You got DK Metcalf with the abdomen. You got Patrick Queen, where it's now back to saying a hip and not a glute. You got Aaron Rodgers with his wrist. You got Kyle Duggar with the hand, Y.A. Black with the shoulder, and Keanu Benton with an ankle. All full participants. I think the big one to note there is Kyle Duggar, that he was back as a full participant. You had 2 players that were limited participants, and I don't think you were going to get anything other than limited. Limited was about the best you're going to generally get when you're talking about guys in the concussion protocol being in their first practice, because they got to stop and check things and things of that nature. So you had Darnell Washington and Malik Harrison both limited, which gives them the opportunity to clear the protocol to get back. But Andrews Pete, he did not practice with the concussion. The other players that did not practice, Ben Skoranek with a hand injury, James Pierre with a calf. Those are both guys that we thought might be limited or not practice early in the week. And what's funny is Thursday's early in the week in this case. TJ Watt obviously did not practice with a designated of a lung, and Derek Hartman was not back at practice at all. He was still did not participate for the first day of this week. And being a rookie, that he looks important, but if he doesn't participate tomorrow, I think you're going to be looking at another week where he's not out there.
I agree. I've got a lot of thoughts on this first day of the injury report. First, I don't want to underscore DK Metcalf being a full participant for me was huge. The guy was held in Baltimore overnight because of an abdominal issue. If the guy had stomach cramps, they would have said, hey, just sit by the bathroom. You'll be okay on the flight. It was more serious than that the medical team said, we want you to stay in Baltimore, whether it's the University of Maryland, Johns Hopkins, who knows. Thankfully, in Baltimore, that dump of a town, they actually have some really good hospitals. But so DK Metcalf, I thought that was huge. Patrick Queen, he's been dealing with this, but him being a full participant, great. I was happy that Aaron Rodgers was a full participant, that he didn't have a day off. He got an extra day rest. I get it, but he was a full participant. You mentioned Duggar, but man, Andres Pete not practicing Thursday, in my opinion, almost guarantees he will not clear protocol for the game.
Yeah.
The other two, because you're limited on the first day, you can work your way back. That's going to be tough. That means that Dylan Cook's probably going to be the starting left tackle this Sunday. And yeah, other than that, Derek Hartman was a bummer.
Yeah.
I was hoping for a limited participation, and it was a DNP, so that's tough. He talked to the media. He said he's hopeful, but at the same time, Bryan, what do you think?
Yeah, I think one thing that gives me a little bit of solace is the fact that this is not the first day. This is not your Wednesday report. This is your Wednesday report.
Yeah.
This isn't the second day of reports, but yeah, I'm kind of feeling everything that you're feeling, Jeff, right there with when it's concussion protocol, it's a different animal. So I would go ahead and say, yeah, that looks pretty tough without Pete. Pete was not spectacular, but he held the fort. We're going to see what Cook can do possibly. And if it's anything like the Steelers, when they face a team that is dilapidated on the offensive line, that's actually not a killer, because the Steelers can't take advantage of that. Let's hope the Dolphins can't as well.
Yeah. Dave, any other final thoughts? Should we take a look at the Miami side of things?
Yeah, I mean, some of those guys that didn't practice, I'm still not super worried about, like the Skoranek, like the Pierre. Tomorrow will really tell a lot more. But you're right. The fact that Rodgers was back at full, Metcalf was back at full, that was some pretty good stuff. And because they gave them the day off, Coach Tomlin talked about it. Sometimes on a Monday night, you take the extra practice. You go Wednesday, Thursday, double up Friday. You run 2 Fridays, and then you just go into it. But they thought they needed to give the players the time off and the rest, and because of that, nobody missed practice due to rest.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yep.
Also interesting to note, someone, I forget which beat writer brought this up, but everyone talked about how great last week's practice was. Well, they practiced indoors almost every day last week, and they're back indoors. Tomlin does not like that. He typically is if we're playing outside and it's going to be cold, I want to get outside and get in the cold. They were indoors again. I'm wondering if this is Aaron Rodgers and some of the players saying, hey, we do better when we're inside, and then we'll get ready for the game when it's game time. But just something to note and something to keep your eyes on. But all right, Dave, let's go to the Dolphins side of things. What do you think there?
Yeah, well, I also do think that it's interesting that right now you said that about the weather, because right now the high in Pittsburgh on Monday is supposed to be 18 degrees.
Yeah,
so I'm
the
sure
wind chill is going to be crazy.
Yeah. So and that's during the day. Now we're talking about a kickoff after 8 p.m. That's just going to be insane. All right, here we go with the Dolphins. They had 2 players that did not practice on Thursday. They were, oh my goodness, I'm trying to zoom in and see this. Elijah Campbell, defensive back, and linebacker Caleb Johnson. That's with a C. They didn't practice. Let's see. Campbell was with an ankle and knee, and Johnson was with the shoulder. Players that were limited was Achane with his ribs. The long snapper, I can't even read the name, with a hamstring. Cornerback Raul Douglas with a foot. Safety, I can't say the name. It's with a thumb and a groin. Those are obviously 2 separate injuries, because if not, that would be crazy. I'm sorry. Oh, that says tricep. I'm like, why does this look like it says Trump? Tricep is offensive lineman Andrew Meyer, and then linebacker Chop Robinson was limited with an oblique, and then Darren Waller was limited with rest. They had 3 guys that they listed as full participants, but with an injury like the Steelers did, and that's cornerback. Is that Bowser? I can't. My goodness, this writing is so small. And then offensive lineman Aaron Brewer, I do believe, and offensive lineman Jonah, something that starts with an S. That's the best I can do. Sorry.
Well, before I throw it to Bryan, the only player I'm going to talk about, it's not the long snapper. It's Achane and his rib injury. And Mike McDonald said, he could have come back into the game last week, and he's limited on Thursday. Dave, what'd you say the high was on Monday? 18?
It's supposed to be, right now they say the high is 18.
That's the warmest of the day is 18.
Yes.
It's going to be 8:15 kickoff when it is probably in single digits with the wind chill around 0.
Yeah.
And he gets hit in the ribs or falls on a football. it's going to be a different story. That's all I'm going to say. Brian, what did you think about their injury report?
Yeah, absolutely. A-Chain is the guy. And before I get into my thoughts on the report, I've got two things to say real quick. Now, going back to the TJ Watt thing, I wasn't even thinking about the wind chill being that. So if the guy's having lung problems, you throw in 18 degrees with a wind chill that's crazy, man, he might struggle too if there's after effects of whatever is going on. A-Chain, man, he could change the game on a dime. The guy has breakaway speed. I seriously think those ribs will limit your speed just a little bit because you are feeling it. I mean, it's you definitely feel it. He's a tough player. There's no doubt on it. I don't care what Mike McDaniel says. Don't care whatsoever because when I look at him, I feel like he's been coked out since the 80s and he probably wasn't even born then. So, I mean, seriously, I mean, he looks like he was partying like it was 1999 back in 83.
Knowing the story about him and the struggle with sobriety, that's just messed up.
Oh, I didn't know about that. I apologize.
But, Dan Quinn, he thought he was going to be fired with stuff, and Dan Quinn really helped get his life turned around in that regard. So,
boy, I really stepped in it. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, but, sorry. I just want to put it out there. I'm like, kudos to McDaniel for that's it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if he's overcoming that, fantastic. That is not something to make light out. I do apologize. I will be going to confession for that. Also, with this being said, I do have to go ahead and say this. If anybody can pull off a a groin/thumb injury, it's somebody in the Davis house.
That's true. I feel like you've had that. I feel like we got a message at one point where Brian said, "Guys, I'm sorry, I've got a groin and a thumb injury. I can't do the show."
I have never missed a thumb. I'm sorry. I've never missed a show for an injury or a sickness. I come in sick. That's one thing I do.
That's true. Maybe it was one of your kids. My kid.
No, if it's a buffet, yeah, I might miss.
So my biggest question when you say that about the Dolphins coach, will he wear the capris in 18-degree weather?
I don't think he did when they played in Kansas City. That was the game where Patrick Mahomes' helmet crashed. It was that cold. I don't think he wore the capris that game. You'd have to be foolish, but that's just me.
This coming from a guy that I wear shorts in the snow, but that's just me.
Yeah, that's just you. So, all right, let's do some keys to victory here. Dave, I'll let you go first. Let's start on offense. What's your key to victory for the Steelers?
Ooh, key to victory is stay aggressive. Continue to take shots. I mean, there's some other low-hanging fruit that I'll leave for you guys. So that's what I'm going to say. To continue to take shots. Don't live in your fears. Don't try to get too cute, but stay aggressive and stay. I'll be honest with you, particularly Aaron Rodgers, stay comfortable because he looked so much more comfortable this last game than he had in others.
Brian, what do you think?
Act like you're from Pittsburgh, and also your quarterback. Act like you played in Green Bay for 18 years, and use that as a strength on offense, especially in breathtaking. In a situation like this, in breathtaking wind and cold, you're easier to control it on offense than you are on defense, as far as I'm concerned, because of you have to turn on a dime, you've got to pivot, you've got to do all this, and the offense knows the routes they're running. Don't get cute. Don't believe your own hype from last week. Everything's not fixed, but you can build on last week, and it's as simple as that. Playing your game, and thank the Dolphins for trying to tank early on and getting rid of Jalen Phillips, because he's having an amazing time in Philadelphia. Just absolutely phenomenal. I'm glad he's not there. Going back to the injury report, if Chop Robinson can't go, that front seven might be weakened a little bit. Try to play a little more of a power game, but don't forget how to pass.
I would just like to see the Steelers win a game that starts after 4:00. They haven't done it yet this year. They're an 0 for on prime time. the 4:25 kickoff against Buffalo. We all remember how that went. I would like to see them show up on primetime for once. It's going to be a crazy environment. The Hall of Honor inductees, Ben Roethlisberger, Marquise Pouncey, Joey Porter Sr. are going to be there. The yellow end zones are going to be there. Like, it's going to be an awesome night. Color rush uniforms. Steelers, get your heads out of your anal cavities and start playing some football in primetime is what I want to say. All right, let's go to defense, Dave. What about you?
You got to stop the run. That's just, I mean, we could all just chime in together and say that. That's not the only thing, but that really has to be the biggest thing. You've got to stop the run and make Tua beat you in sub 18-degree weather.
Yeah, I love it, Bryan.
Yeah, not only that, keep your eye on the old man Darren Waller. That guy came back from being on the shelf for nearly 2 years. And he's a guy that has done a fantastic job as far as helping them in this winning streak. I would almost say that that's a guy that you want to check them out over the middle and make sure everything's okay there as well. But yes, A-chain.
I don't expect them to completely stop the run, but I'll say this. If I'm someone like Keanu Benton, or what is it, Otamaweo? Isn't that another defensive lineman that's like reserve? Is that how you say his name?
93.
Mm-hmm. Something like that.
Something like that.
If I'm Logan Lee, if I'm Wyatt Black, I'm hearing these people talking about Derek Hartman and the stats, which are the stats. You can't deny it, that the Steelers surrender almost 100 yards less when he's in the lineup. And I'm going to be like, you know what? If this guy doesn't play, let's prove that we can stop the run without him. Let's have a little chip on our shoulder. Let's go out there and prove that it's not all this rookie that's making the difference. Because maybe I'm sure it's not just the rookie, but still, my gosh, like, those numbers are the numbers. You can't take them. You can't change them. When he's in the lineup, they hold opponents to just under 100. And when he's not, they give up almost, what is it, like 170? It's insane.
It's 192.25.
Yes. So all those other guys step it up if he can't play. I mean, I hope he plays. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, if he's not in the lineup, geez, let's do something. All right. What's going to happen now is we're going to take a break. If you're watching live on any platform, we're not going anywhere. When we come back, we're going to have our predictions for the game. We're going to do over under. We've got bad memories, trivia, all that fun stuff. We'll be right back after this break. All right, Steeler fans, we are back. Second half, time for the over-under game where we're going to update how bad I'm doing. Dave, why don't you do that now?
Yeah, how bad you're doing. Jeff, you had a decent week.
All right.
You really did.
It was probably last, but that's okay.
No, I mean, yeah, you got 3 right out of the 6. And you
got
got both picks of the spread and the over-under. The problem is Bryan got twice as many as you did because he got them all. Bryan got 6 and I got 5. So I had a really good week, but still didn't be bad. But then again, I had the under when you guys both had the over. But I actually picked the correct score for the Ravens. I just didn't pick the correct score for the Steelers. I had them with 22 points. So when you look at it overall, Jeff is leading the way when it comes to picking the game and the over-under. You've got 14 to Bryan's 12 to my 10. When it comes to picking everything, Jeff, you're in third with 23. No, wait, sorry, not 23. 33. I read that wrong. And then Bryan and I are actually tied with 46 because Bryan's been on a tear. I was up by a good bit, but he's just been doing so well. Maybe I should just copy all his picks every week. We had 5 of the same last week, but yeah, he got me on the one.
So I am still leading the game picks.
Yes.
That's hysterical. Okay, so week 15, Dolphins.
Hey, the Steelers are 7-6. You had to get more than half of them right.
That's right. All right. Pittsburgh Steelers team rushing yards. Okay, rushing yards as a team. I'm going with, and this might be, this was a tough line to draw, but I did 115.5. I don't feel like last week was indicative of their running game. 115.5, Bryan, over under.
You know, I'm going to continue to go with the under on this. I hope I'm wrong, but it's been working for me so far. It just seems like they have not. I agree with you, Jeff. It's not indicative, but I just don't feel like they have really turned that up. And that this rush game is not where it needs to be. And the problems on the offensive line with injuries, I'm not ready to go ahead and say it's solved.
Okay, Dave.
Yeah, and the Dolphins aren't that great at stopping the run. I mean, even when I broke down for Pittsburgh Standard Time how they've been doing over the last 4 games when they've won their last 4, they're still like 11th. It's not like they're tearing it up. But a 115.5 still seems like a lot to me, which really it shouldn't. I mean, really, it shouldn't. But how many times have the Steelers gone over that this year? That's a good question. How many times have they gone over 115 yards rushing?
I don't know. The last time was in Chicago. I know that.
Yeah. They went over it against the Vikings. They went over it against the Bengals, and they went over it against Chicago. That's all.
Yikes.
That's why before Bryan even said it, I'm taking the under.
I was thinking under 2, but again, I wouldn't be shocked if they have a game on the ground at some point, and it might be this one. We'll see. All right, let's go to the tough one as well. The Miami rushing yards. Now, this is they run the ball well. The Steelers can't stop the run, and it's a situation where it's like, okay, something's got to give here. Does Derek Hartman play? I don't know. The line is 155.5. 155.5. I cannot believe I'm setting the line this high, but with Derek Hartman missing in the first day of practice, I wish we had a second day because it might have changed what I feel about this. I'm not feeling great, but Bryan, what do you think? Over under?
Well, that is a whole heck of a lot. And if they're going to win this game and I'm not confident about them running the ball themselves, they've got to break that streak of giving up a lot. So I'm going to say that they find a way to hold them down no matter who plays.
Okay. Dave?
Dolphins have gone over that each of the last each of the last 4 games where they're on their 4-game win streak. Therefore, I think they're going to try to run it even more with it being cold. I wouldn't be shocked if they get 160 rushing yards and less than 250 total yards. But therefore, I'm going to take the over. But that's just because I think they'll really run the ball a lot. It could be as much volume as anything else.
It's funny. I said, like last week, I said the Ravens rushing yards 125, and I was like, they got to go under to win, and they will give up over 200 and find a way to win. Yeah. So I'm going to say under though, because I think that the Steelers, I'm hoping Derek Hartman's back. I think they're going to have a better answer for it. I pray. Let's go to the next one. Aaron Rodgers touchdowns. Now, this is not passing touchdowns. This is total touchdowns. So last week he had a rushing and a throwing. So I have it at 1.5. Bryan, over under.
You know what? I think I don't think he's going to get any on the ground. I think that's an aberration, but I will go ahead and say over.
Okay. Dave?
Okay, I'm really torn here because based on my score and everything I was going to turn out, and I'm like, but the safe bet's really to take the over. So I'm going to take the over because it's safe. Whether or not Bad took it or not, I'm going safe. I want to say under so bad, but I'm going to say over.
I'm going to go under. I would love to get another discount double check. That would be awesome. Give us a bootleg on the goal line. Let him run it in. Do the discount double check. I used to hate that, but I love it as he's a Steeler. All right, let's go to DK Metcalf receiving yards coming off of his huge day, over 140. I'm just going to say 72.5, Bryan.
I so badly want to go over on this, but I'm scared to. Did they solve the problem, or was that he had a lot of yards last week? If he gets half of that, that's still hell over.
Oh geez, I already wrote down the under. Okay, so you take the over. All right, bold prediction. Not only will he go over, he will have at least that many yak yards. I see him getting a short dump off pass and running a long way with it at least once in this game.
I hope you're right. I'm actually going to go under. He never really has 2 games where he has those breakouts. Like he has a big game and then he kind of comes under. So we'll see. I hope he still has a good game. I was thinking more around 70 yards. So let's go with the next one. Chris Boswell field goals. The line's at 2.5. Bryan.
My gosh, I get burnt on this all the time. I usually go over on Boswell field goals. With the weather, is that going to change things? Yeah, it might. Let's say he gets 3.
Okay, Dave.
So you're taking the over.
Yes.
Based on I'm still trying to tweak my score that I'm still going to do because of things. I'm going to take the under. I'll say 2.
All right. I'm going with the over based on my score. So, all right, there you have that. Now, let's also take a look at the last one here. Pat Freiermuth targets. We did this last week. Same line. It was 2.5 last week. I believe he had 3 targets with 2 catches last week. So we're going to keep it 2.5. Pat Freiermuth targets. Bryan, over under.
Let's go over.
Dave.
Well, it's interesting because part of that, Darnell Washington played in the second half. But we don't know for sure if he'll play. I'll take the over regardless. I'll go with 3 again.
I'm going to go over as well. So we all mirror each other there on that one. So there you have it. Let's take a look at score predictions now. The current line, and this could definitely change between, say, if you're listening to this podcast on Sunday or even Monday morning, you want to hear the Steelers preview because you missed it. It could change. So as of Thursday, before we hit record, the Steelers are spotting 3 points. And the total is 41.5. 41.5. So, Bryan, how do you see this one shaking out?
Well, my final score is over that. So it's definitely going to be the over. I'm looking at the Steelers 27. Is that correct? 27 and the Miami Dolphins 24.
Wow. So in
other words, you're taking the push.
Oh, is that the push? I'm not. No. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change that. I'm going to say that it's going to be 30-26 in favor of the Steelers.
Oh, geez. Goes even more. Okay. 30.
That's not the push, right?
No.
Okay.
And you're going with the Steelers. I was extremely tempted to take the Dolphins in this game. The Steelers they don't seem like they've kept the pedal to the metal throughout the season. I tried to look up to see if the Steelers have let down games after playing the Ravens, especially after beating the Ravens. Unless it's a short week, then the data was really inconclusive. But at the same time, the Steelers have not played well in prime time. Yeah, they're at home. There's a lot of other stuff. And I'm like, what am I ultimately going to say is the final factor, the final thing to make me swing who's going to win the game? And I'm going with the temperature. But I'm going with the Steelers to win, but not cover. I've got Steelers 20-18 over the Dolphins.
Very interesting. This game, when you talk about how cold it's going to be, I don't know if it reminds me of the Christmas Eve game against the Raiders. This was right after Franco Harris died. It was the anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. I don't know. Was it colder than this?
It was single digits before a wind chill.
Okay. All right, so it was significantly colder. All right, but it's that game I remember.
It might have been 12 or something. I don't know. Yeah.
But that was the Kenny Pickett era, so that's a different era. But still, there was so little scoring. It was a lot of punts, a lot of 3 and outs. It was just so cold. You couldn't do anything. I'm going to go, though, with a game that's going to be unique score. I've got Steelers 23, Miami 18 as the final. So that is a half point under, and I like the Steelers to give the points in cover.
23-18 for them. That's what's funny.
23-18. So I think it's going to be one of those games where it might be pretty close down the stretch, and then it might be one touchdown that kind of puts them over the top. We'll see. But I like the Steelers in this one. I think this team maybe figured some stuff out against Baltimore. I just hope. And maybe I should say I hope that they did. So, all right. That's it. There's the predictions. There's our over-under. Bryan's bad memories. Pittsburgh, Miami. There's not a ton of options here, but there are definitely some. I'm gonna go with the Monday nighter, which was the Mud Bowl that ended 3-0. That's my guess. Dave, what's your guess?
Yeah, that's probably what I would go with myself as well with that one. Unless you were going postseason, then I would go with the one I was at where Bud Dupree killed Matt Moore.
Well,
And he came back in.
You could also do the opening game after 2005. That was in 2006, Ben's appendectomy game, where Joey Porter wasn't that his first? Wasn't he back in Pittsburgh as? No, that wasn't the game where he was back with Miami, was it?
No, he actually kissed Bill Cowher on the sidelines after they won that game. I was there.
That's right. Yeah, but then there's the game where Joey Porter picked off Ben as a member of the Dolphins. I think wasn't that in Pittsburgh?
He doesn't have to be in Pittsburgh for this because remember they only played the Dolphins once this season.
Well,
okay. Anyways, there's a lot of options.
Yeah,
there are so many good ones. I mean, my first inclination was 1979 in the playoffs where they just beat up on Bob Greasy and the Dolphins. I wanted to look at that rain game in 1989, but I got to go with something that's going to give us a hell of a story. And this story goes back to 2013. Now, if you remember, in 2013, the Steelers started out 0-4, including that loss in England to the Minnesota Vikings. That was also the year that Terrell Pryor, I think, went 99 yards on them. You had that Charlie Batch beating Baltimore that season, but that was also the Ryan Suckup season where they basically made their way into the playoffs, but that the Chiefs rested everybody. So let's go ahead and look at 2013, December 8th. And there's a lot of talk this week. In fact, I was on a show with Kevin Smith and Pez, and they were talking about when the Dolphins play in sub-freezing weather, they're horrible. Yeah. But let's talk about a blizzard coming through with all the snow on the field.
I was going to say this. I said, if you want to go with a loss, then here's your game. And there you go.
And the only reason I'm going for the loss is it was the most incredible ending. So they are down 34-28. The Steelers are going for the win with no time, with seconds left on the clock. So Ben Roethlisberger throws a pass to Emmanuel Sanders. Then he laterals it quickly to 89, and I think that's David Paulson, but I had trouble trying to find out who 89 in 2013 was. He threw to Le'Veon Bell. Bell throws to Marcus Gilbert. Gilbert throws it back to Ben Roethlisberger. Ben tosses it at the 45-yard line to Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown goes down the sideline, the left sideline, 55 yards to victory. So I thought. I was in my basement, and you guys know my basement. We had the TV there. I ran down, and I was like a referee, and I was going, go, 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 go. Yeah! And I went crazy. Then I realized he stepped out of bounds. My dog, Polly, the one named after Polamalu, she was next to me, and I scared the bejesus out of her because I was like, wow, why is this floor so hot all of a sudden? I scared the pee out of my dog because I was cheering because I was pedaling on the ground, and she never made a mess in the house. She peed on the floor, and it wasn't carpet. So it was like, man, this is burning hot. Is my house on fire during this blizzard? Here, no, that's what happened. The Steelers, they needed that win. They would have went to the playoffs. And the Steelers as a 7th seed that year in 2013 were as good as almost everybody in the AFC. It would have been something special. But there you go. That was a heck of a game. I'd rather go with – I don't love going with losses, but that was just memorable. And when you're talking about a dachshund peeing, it's even funnier.
Yeah, for sure. All right. There's actually a lot of memories, but I'm sure trivia is going to be fun. I'm a 2-week champion here. So, Bryan, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I love that it pisses him off.
That doesn't piss me off. I don't like to lose, but if I'm going to lose to anybody, it's Jeff Hartman. Because I think it's unfair how we treat Jeff as that he's dumb when it comes to trivia, because He's self-deprecating there, but he's not. He knows his stuff.
Well, it's funny because Dave makes me feel like an idiot and he has the answers. That's like if I looked up the most inobscure stats. Like, oh my God,
Dude,
Dave,
I finally let you have a trivia that the answer was Dick Shiner. And I
Yeah.
said, this is your moment to shine. And you still didn't get it.
Wanted to bring these here. I put these down here on my backdrop. We got a little Dick Shiner here and a little Buzz Nutter.
Yeah.
So we got a Dick Shiner and a Buzz Nutter for anybody out there.
Nutter Shiner 26.
I will tell you, Jeff, neither of those will be the answers this week.
That's a shame. Okay.
So there's a lot of places you could have gone with these. Because once again, we are doing players that played for both franchises. Jeff, the board is yours.
Let's go 400.
I was going to skip to the 400. So you do know that these aren't increasing in difficulty, just so we know. All right.
Yes.
Oh, hold on. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I was going to say I had something else I wanted to say with it here, but there. All right. This Steelers wide receiver was a Pro Bowler with the Steelers, but chose to move on to the Miami Dolphins among other teams. And AB was very grateful for it.
Maybe.
Did Jeff get it? I didn't hear anything from that. Okay. And Jeff?
Who is Mike Wallace?
Who is Mike Wallace? That is correct.
All right. Let's go to 200 now.
200. Okay. Back up to 200. All right. Here we go. This Steelers linebacker was a Pro Bowler for both teams.
Oh, I got it first.
It was Jeff first. It really was.
Who is Joey Porter Sr.?
Yes, I didn't even finish the question where I was going to say Daddy knows best. But yeah,
I want to protest.
Yeah.
On the official roster, he was never senior.
Bryan, you want to give a huge explanation before you say every answer and run out of time. So
I get the real trivia, by the way,
too. About stuff like that. Okay, so Jeff, you were at 600, and the board is yours.
Let's go 600.
So you'll go with the 600 to see if you can double your score. All right. Okay.
Getting rid of that bell. That's not helping me.
This Steelers tight end had 2 Pro Bowls for the Steelers, but missed out on a Super Bowl appearance in his first year and only year playing for the Miami Dolphins. Did I say that right? I said so. So Pro Bowl tight end missed out on a Super Bowl because he moved on to play with the Dolphins.
Beep. Who is Eric Green?
Had to bring it up this week because Bryan ruined it last week. So got to use Eric Green this time because he went to the Dolphins first. So we now have a tie.
That's right.
Now we get into the more difficult
rubber
ones.
meets the road, Hartman.
Sorry, Jeff. These are difficult.
I'm sure they are. I'm not going to get it.
What are we doing, Bryan?
Let's go 800.
Yeah, go in 800. Okay. This is yeah. This. Okay, hold on. I gotta look something up before I do this. So talk amongst yourselves, because okay, I got it. I wanted to make sure I didn't say something wrong and then look like a fool. So I just had to say it real quick. Okay, you ready? Here you go. This Steelers punter played for 8 different teams, including the Miami Dolphins. Lord have mercy. Bryan.
Who is Mark Royals?
There we go. It is Mark Royals.
Let's go 1,000.
I had to make sure it was Lord that sang that song. Royals. Sorry.
Yeah, I was all worried when I was like, Lord, and then I didn't realize.
Yes.
I didn't put that together.
Okay.
All right, let's do it. 1,000.
Okay. This Steelers first round pick went on to play for 4 other teams, finishing his final partial season with the Miami Dolphins. once settling in on the proper position? There was no play on words in this one.
I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
Beep, beep. Jeff can't think of it. He's hoping Bryan will go and miss it.
Yeah, you know what? Hell, I'm going for it.
Okay. Hit the button.
Who is
Bryan.
Aaron Jones?
That is incorrect.
Okay. So I lose. That's fine, but I went for it, Jeff. Who is Ziggy Hood?
Who is Ziggy Hood?
3-time champ.
Yeah. Come on. The Steelers had him playing in a 3-4 when that guy needed to be in a 4-3.
You know, everybody in the live chat is probably rooting for me to lose because I'm more entertaining when I lose.
Yeah.
This game was sponsored by Buzz Nutter and Dick Shiner. I'm going to keep him here to use this every week. All right. This has been a good show. Let's do some final thoughts. Bryan, I'll let you go first.
Final thoughts. This is the season that we talk about. All right, it's time to break trends. We talked about it last year when the Steelers played on the 15th. On this weekend, they played on the 15th in a game that I went to in Philadelphia in the freezing cold. They hadn't won in all of those years. They still ended up losing that game. We talked about how they don't win in Chicago very often, and they kept that trend going up. And we're like, trends have got to stop. Well, let's keep a trend going this time, because as we have talked about in many a year, every time the Steelers play a home game on Monday Night Football, and I believe that they do it almost every year, a home game on Monday Night Football. If they don't, I would be shocked. But I'd love to count how many they've had in that time. But since October 14th of 1991, I was pledging a fraternity and we were watching the end of it. We snuck away to watch the end of it on a black and white TV as the Steelers lost. I believe it was 23-20 or something like that. Right at the end of regulation, Neil O'Donnell was the quarterback, and the Steelers lost on Monday Night Football at home. They have not lost Monday Night Football at home for 34 years. So, with that being said, let's have that trend continue. They've got a lot of guys out, but they still know how to play on primetime at home. We are honoring all those guys in the house. One last thing about that, Marquise Pouncey is probably going to be bummed that he's lost all that weight because he's going to need it because it is going to be very cold, but it doesn't matter. The Steelers, if they want to be anything and have some redemption, they go ahead and take care of business and continue the trend.
All right. Good stuff. Dave, final thoughts?
Yeah, we had to bring it up on a different show that some people are going, oh, well, they're whatever and won on Monday. That's true on Monday, but not on Monday Night Football, because they did have that Monday late afternoon game during the COVID season that which messes up everything. There's all kinds of crazy games that went on there. But I'm actually kind of grateful that, it's a Monday night game. This is the craziest game the Steelers have left time-wise, unless they get flexed to Saturday and week 18. I mean, think about it. At this time last year, we're getting ready to play Saturday, then a Wednesday, then they had a Thursday they had a Thursday game in December, or maybe no, the Thursday game was sooner than that. But they had all kinds of weird, non-typical stuff. This is the last non-Sunday game that we're going to have until potentially the last week of the season. So I was actually there the last time the Steelers and Dolphins played in Pittsburgh on Monday Night Football. It was a color rush game. Do either of you guys remember that one?
Yep, I do. That was the Mason Rudolph, Duck Hodges year, but Mason played in that game.
That is correct. And the Steelers were coming off the bye, and they went down like 13-0 or something like that, or 14-0. But they ended up winning by that many points. That was the infamous cover zero play that Deontay Johnson, they sent everybody, and Deontay Johnson had a wide open catch to just and run for a touchdown right before the end of the first half. Kind of changed everything there. So we can talk about history all we want. History doesn't matter. What matters is the Pittsburgh Steelers need to come out and they need to play as hard against every opponent as they do the Baltimore Ravens. They need to scheme up things as well against every opponent as they did the Baltimore Ravens. They need to be as aggressive against every opponent as that they were against the Baltimore Ravens. This is their first game after the Ravens. You've got to show that if the Steelers show that they can be that same team and still continue to try to improve some of these things that have been ailing them lately, like running the football, stopping the run. If they can get those kind of things going through the month of December, then that's going to get Steelers fans feeling much, much better. But in order to do that, you got to go out there and take care of business on Monday night.
All right, real quick, let's get this $5 tip from Thanks Mean Joe. He says, prayers for TJ's health and the lung issues, nothing serious. Thank you for the tip, and thank you for that comment. Absolutely. Make sure you stay tuned to SteelCurtainNetwork.com and to the Steel Curtain Network Podcast Network for all the latest news, including everything that we've heard or hearing about TJ Watt and any updates you get. So that's it for this week. Make sure you check out all of our shows. Again, SteelCurtainNetwork.com is our website. Check those out. We'll be back next week on another Steelers preview. Dave, why don't you send us out like you always do?
Hey.
We'll see you next week, everybody.
Steel Curtain Network. Get it.
Everybody else gets a little tight.